Here with TrueDFS, and I'm going to go over tonight's 10-game NHL DFS slate. Contests are a little smaller because MLB has started and NBA going, but there is still money to be made. And I unfortunately can't play tonight, actually, but I still wanted to get out a video because on Tuesdays we do tend to get the best slates of the week, and now is the time. So that's what I'm here for. So, and I'm here to help. So we had some questions yesterday I want to go over that we had in chat the previous day. But before I do, remember what really helps us out. You hear it all the time, like and subscribe. So like and subscribe, you help us out and you help yourself because you get more videos like this from TrueDFS. I mean, Bobby Fine Sheets just giving out great content for MLB and NBA just now. They're doing it every day. Check that out and check out TrueDFS.com. There are trials available where you could get like the tools we're going to use, the SaberSim, the PayDirt model. We just added a NASCAR model from a Stuka. So there's just like a lot of stuff you get. And, you know, after you try it out, you'll see that the prices aren't much more than they are if you bought it from any of those sites. So instead of going a la carte to each one, you can get it in one package for a price that's like really freaking competitive. So check it out. So yeah, but let's go over the slate. D Pope asked yesterday how you'd run things for 3-man. I wouldn't do much different if I was running 3-man versus the single entry. I'd still build my lineups in a pretty similar way, and I'd run the sims. I would just run contest simulations on the $3.20 max. So why don't we do that? So I think what I'm going to do today is run those, and then like I'll run them using Goldie's projection, see how if and how it differs, what teams we get to. And then that's how I would run my lineups if I was playing 20 max right before the slate starts and all the news is in. One thing you can do, I try and do this throughout the day, is like just keep up with the Twitter news cycle. There's usually not much. But there's a couple sites that do lines before lock in NHL. I prefer this one, this Game Day Lines Twitter account. And the reason I prefer him is that he's putting stuff up for practice, right? So you could see, you know, for example, how Utah practiced their power play today, their power play 2 units. And you don't always get these with the other line sites. You don't get what's going on during the day. The same with these news updates. They're usually pretty minor, big news you kind of hear about, but you know, little info like this can be helpful if these teams are practicing and playing on the slate. And it's really helpful. Yeah, like when you get power play units, I mean, you kind of know what Utah's going to do already, but for teams that you don't know what they're going to do if they practice special teams and you get that info, it's pretty damn helpful. So I recommend checking these out from time to time throughout the day, or at least before lock, and especially this time of year, right? Because teams are tanking, teams are playing hard, teams are fighting for spots and making changes. So, you know, I totally would not sleep on the news stuff. But anyway, let's run some lineups. So we're doing 20 max. Entry. I think they consider that low stakes. So we'll run using ownership for a low stakes 20 max. We don't want minimum salary. Now, there's some debate on this. I personally just am not, like, I'm never going to play these 3-man and 2-man nonsense stacks. And I see no reason to build them. Right? Now, it used to be in the past you could build them because you just wanted your top lineups and Saber Score kind of ran the pool against each other and you used projection to rank things. But that's not the case now that we're running contest sims. Now that we're running contest sims, we're running against what we think the field's going to do. And we're getting an ROI number that's done way differently from Saber Score. And so we could see what the best lineups that we like are in terms of ROI instead of taking them out after when they affect that metric. So I just take out all the stuff I don't like. I don't want 4-2s. I really just want 4-3 and up. That's really, correlation is king. That's what I'm into. That's how I want to run it. So I'm going to build my lineups with that in mind. I'm not going to make any other changes. I'm just going to build. And then let's just go here. It's got the flagship loaded. We want the $3 20 max. Is there a $3? There's not a $3. There's $3 5 max. T-Pope, you asked about the $3. There might have been different for different slates. Let's see. Yeah, you got the $1.20. The hip check is pretty popular. Let's just do this. Let's run for this 5 max then. This might have been what you meant. If you're in chat again, let me know. We're running 5 into there. So we're going to simulate this contest using our lineups to see how they grade against what we think the field's going to do in there. It's a little slow. That's okay. After we do this, what I want to do is from the same process using Goldie's projections, and you get those with a TrueDFS subscription, and it really differentiates you from other SaberSim users. We could see how and if our lineups differ when we use Goldie's projections. Let's see what our 5 look like. I'm going to let it get to 5,000. Fill the air. There's like not a lot of super high totals on the slate. Tampa, they could always score 8 goals. They did a few games ago. Utah's looking pretty good. Vegas, not a ton of high totals. I feel like you can get to a lot of different teams on this slate and feel pretty comfortable. All right. We want to take it down to our top 5 because we're only playing 5 into this. Let's see if we did just use the Saber score metric. Looks like it just says Jam Tampa. All 5 Tampa 6 fans. But we don't want to do that. We're purposely not using that, right? Because we're changing what we do pre-flop, pre-build. Let's say pre-flop will be prior to the contest, but okay. So let's see what we got in the top ROIs. What's up, Project Mayhem? Soft spot for Calgary. See, I like Calgary too, in a way. I mean, the thing about Calgary is they're a halfway decent team and they're dirt cheap. So they're not great for DFS. Their scoring is not that concentrated, and they tend to not score a lot. But you could really fit in a lot when you play Calgary. So I don't know. We'll see what the Sims say. That's my softest spot, is going with the contest Sims. But I do happen to agree with you that Calgary can look good sometimes. Here, if we run the Sims, I mean, you still get a lot of Tampa in this small $3 contest. It's a small contest. That makes sense. Yeah, all Tampa. We'll see. One thing we've noticed, or I've noticed, is when I run earlier in the day, I tend to get some of these like higher projected teams, and I don't get them when I build before lock. And I think the reason is the ownership just isn't sharp yet. So it doesn't realize that like a lot of the pool, a lot of the field we play against might be on Tampa. Let's see. Let's see if we bump this to who our next highest stack is after Tampa. Remember, this is for a pretty small field. So Tampa, Tampa, Tampa. It just wants you to shove Tampa. I mean, that makes sense. If they have the highest projection, right? They have concentrated scoring, killer power play, and the highest team total. And if it does not think they're going to have a lot of ownership yet, it says, well, you got to play them. Then you get to some Vegas, right? So what would I do if I was playing 5 lineups? I'm not playing 5 Tampas. Maybe play 2 Tampas. So I do something like this. I have 5 lineups in the $3. Let's do that. Let's see where I get. Then it says it's more diverse, but let's see. So we've got a Tampa onslaught, a Vegas onslaught, another Vegas. Vegas. Okay, so if you do this, then you're 60% Vegas, right? Do you want that? I mean, I don't know. I'm not comfortable with that either. So maybe what I do, I got, let's make it 40% Tampa max, 40% Vegas max. See how this looks. Now I got a range. 2 Tampa onslaughts, a Vegas onslaught, a Nashville 5-man, that's an onslaught, a Vegas 4-man. So now you got 2 Tampas, 2 Vegases, and a Nashville. Low projection on Nashville. Played last night. Going on the road to Columbus. But, Columbus, they can't play a lick of defense, can they? Do they? I'd go with it. Who do you get with your Nashville? What's the stack look like? You get Anders Lee, Lacombe on the power play. Coupled with Horvat. Kind of like that. Let's see where our goalies. Georgiev. The Sharks. See, I don't love 80% of a goalie. So let's max him. Let's see. Now we got some diversity. Let's see what our stacks look like now. 2 Tampas, 2 Vegas, and the Nashville still. Just swapped in some more little Aiden Hill. I like it. So Deep Hope, this is how I would run for the $3 5 max. I'd do something similar for the 20 max. I'd just be using the contest simulations for the 20 max. So today there's a $1.20 max. The hip check, that's what I'd do. That's how I'd run them. So I hope that helps. Let's do the same thing. Let's see if Goldie's projection gets us anywhere different. I don't know. I mean, I guess it may not. We'll see. I think it will closer to lock. We'll see if they're dialed in. Let's upload Goldie's stuff. Got his ownership. Good. Now, if you have a TrueDFS subscription, you don't have to upload these. They will be automatically uploaded for you, which is just makes it so easy to do, especially right before lock. Timing is everything. So, okay. We have our settings on. Let's rebuild the 5K. Let's see if it's any different. Let's see, it may still want to jam Tampa and Vegas. I wouldn't be surprised. This is a pretty small field. Those are pretty high projected teams. They're going to be owned, but it makes sense. And we're still running against SaberSim's field, right? We're using Goldie's projections, but we're not making our own field. You could do that, right? You could say Goldie thinks the ownership is going to be this. Build me a field that reflects Goldie's ownership, right? Then you could get an even more accurate field if your ownership's right. That's a big question, right? So let's go. We don't have to let it go all the way to 5K. Let it go to 3,000. See if anyone's in Discord. One thing like to do, I've been putting these in Discord. We got the Pater models for DFS, and I got a lot of work to do in the off season to try and make the Pater model kind of sing with the SaberSim. Because sometimes they'll get a little different. You say, who do I trust? They're both so good. There's so much work put into both of them. I want to trust both, but sometimes they give me conflicting stacks. And you say, boy, I don't know. But what I have been doing is looking at the prop bets in the Pater model. You get access to this through TrueDFS. It's really cool, and they've been really sharp. We've had a good real-life ROI, and you can find these EV, plus EV bets all over the place. So shots on goals overs, it predicts a 28% edge. I don't think we have a 28% edge, but we got an edge. So plus 120 for Chikrin over 2.5 shots. Best edge in the model today for shots on goal. Let's see if we got our lineups built. We do. How many do we have? We got 5,000. Okay, so right off the bat, we're different using Goldie stuff. Let's see what our top 5 is. So just using Saber score with Goldie stuff. No Tampa in sight. Oh, you know what, though? We kept these restrictions on, didn't we? We still got plenty in our pool of these. That's fine. Let's see. No Tampa. Some Vegas using Saber scores with Goldie stuff, right? All right, let's run the Sims. Sorted by the contest ROI. Vegas. All Vegas. Onslaught it. Small field. Only 5 entries. Use Goldie stuff. That's already pretty different, right, from what SaberSim got to. It's at all SaberSim right out of the box with their projections, all Tampa. Takes 10 lineups till you get to a Tampa. SaberSim went Tampa, then Vegas. This flips it. See who it gets to next. Vegas, Tampa, Vegas, Tampa. Okay, so I would do the same thing if I was using Goldies. Say, look, these are the good stacks right now. It's right before lock. Everything's sharp. It's close to posts. Got the best ownership projections. But I would tell it something. I'm still not comfortable without diversity. I'd say just give me at most 2 of these. Then let's see. We got to a Nashville after that. We get here. We get St. Louis and the Islanders. And Islanders, 4-man with 3 men in St. Louis. I like it. Let's see if we got overweight on the goalie. We don't like. No, we got 3 different goalies. Vasilevsky, I assume, correlated with Tampa. See, here's what I like. This is what I like about SaberSim, is it knows how many lineups you're playing, right? So you get 2 Vasilevsky lineups, but then it's also calculating in the ROI that there's like variance in these contests, and then you get some. Not only do you get some Sorokin, right, who's anti-correlated with Vasilevsky, you're also going to get an Islander stack. Right? So, one of them is much more likely to do well. And yeah, you'll lose a $3 entry here. Maybe you lose 2 $3 entries. but you're way more diverse and you have negative correlation within your portfolio, right? Which is a good thing in DFS because DFS is so volatile. So we don't want to try to hit the nuts 5 times necessarily. So, we like the negative correlation to sustain ourselves. So really like what we got here in this lineup set. So if it was before lock, I'd have my lineups. Like I said, I'm not able to play tonight, but I'd have them uploaded. I'd save them and I'd ship it into DFS and be ready to go. And that's how I'd play. So I don't think we have time to do FanDuel, but remember to check us out. It really helps us if you like and subscribe. And, go to TrueDFS.com. It's a little bit, we're fixing up the site. So everything's there. Just take some navigation, but check out those trials if you haven't already. If you have in the past, we reset them now that baseball season is back. So you could still get the trial. It's a great price, and it's a great way to get in and see all these tools. Come join us in Discord. You'll get access to the top bets that I've been posting from the pay dirt model, and there are so many more. So with that, I wish you good luck on tonight's slate, whether you're playing DFS or betting, and let's go.